Hello students, today we will discuss the poem Journey of the Magi written by T.S. Eliot. Before we go through the poem, let's have a look at the title of the poem. The title tells us that the poem is about the journey of the Magi. Now, who were these Magi? The theme of the poem is biblical. It is derived from the Gospel of Saint Matthew, which is one of the 4 books in the Bible that describes the life and teachings of Jesus Christ. It is the only Gospel which mentions the Magi. According to this Gospel of Saint Matthew, there were 3 wise men or Magi who were astrologers and also the kings from the east. These Magi, having observed the rising of a bright star and interpreting its appearance as a sign of the birth of the King of the Jews, they set out for Jerusalem, following always the direction of the star. And they came to the house in Bethlehem, which is 10 kilometers south to Jerusalem, and where Christ was born. They worshipped the infant Jesus Christ and gave him gifts. Thus, the Magi were 3 wise men, kings, astrologers who undertook a journey to witness the birth of their Messiah, that is Jesus Christ. Now, if we look at the word journey in the title, it is allegorical in its meaning. Allegory means which has 2 layers of meaning. So literally the word journey means here the physical journey undertook by the Magi in search of Jesus Christ. And allegorically it is about the journey in quest of spiritual life, discarding and resisting the temptations of flesh, that is body. The poet T.S. Eliot has given a new meaning to this biblical story of the journey of the Magi. He imagines that one of the Magi, or a Magus, he relates his experiences years after the journey. So we can say that the poem has been given the form of a dramatic monologue, that is a long speech by a single speaker, that is here is one of the Magi or Magus. The dramatic situation is that the Magus is old now and he recalls the journey undertook by him and his 2 companions to witness the birth of Jesus Christ. The narrator, the Magus, tells us about the physical hardships they came across as well as the spiritual distress it brought. The birth of Christ brought to them, as the birth of Christ was a total transformation of the old world order they knew, and also it was a transformation of their existing set of beliefs. The poem Journey of the Magi has been written in free verse, means it does not follow any traditional pattern of meter and rhyme scheme. A cold coming we had of it, just the worst time of the year for a journey, and such a long journey, the ways deep and the weather sharp, the very dead of winter. As we can see, as we can notice here, the first 5 lines of the poem have been put in the quotation mark because the poet has used the exact words from Bishop Andrew Launcelot's Nativity Sermon. the sermon about the birth of the Christ. In that sermon, Bishop tells about the hardships of the journey of the Magi in an adverse weather to witness the birth of Christ. Here, one of the Magi relates the story of their journey. He says, "A cold coming we had of it. It was a cold coming, as Christ was born in late December." It also means the birth, which symbolized new beginning, was unwelcomed for many. Just the worst time of the year for a journey, and such a long journey. The ways deep and weather sharp, the very dead of winter. It was not an appropriate time for a journey where the ways deep through deep valleys which were freezing as well, and at the peak of the winter season. So in biting and freezing cold, they travelled and they had to face a lot of hardships on their way. He further says, "And the camels, gold, sore-footed, refractory, and the camels they were swollen, their foot were in pain, they were swollen, sore-footed, they were wounded, and so they were refractory, they were being unwilling to go ahead, they were being uncontrollable, lying down in the melting snow, and they would lay down in snow. There were times we regretted the summer palaces on slopes, the terraces, and the silken girls bringing sherbet. And at times we had doubts. We missed and we regretted to start such a journey. We missed our luxurious life, our warm palaces where beautiful women would bring sherbet for us." Allegorically, it hints at the doubts a spiritual seeker come across on his path to spiritualism. Then the camelman, cursing and grumbling and running away and wanting their liquor and women. Even the camel drivers were also reluctant to go ahead in such sharp weather, in such adverse weather. They had lots of complaints. They also ran away and they also craved for their liquor and their women. And the night fires going out, they had to face that night fires used to go out, and the lack of shelters they had to face. They didn't find any shelter. It was hard to find any shelter, and the cities hostile and the towns unfriendly. Wherever they passed, the cities and the towns where they passed, they were hostile to them. They were unfriendly to them. It seemed as if the people there disliked them. And the villages dirty, and the villages through which they passed were filthy, dirty, and charging high prices. Still they were charging high prices from them. They were very expensive. Lodging was very expensive there. A hard time we had of it. The line has been repeated here a cold coming, we had of it, a little variation here, a hard time, we had of it. So this journey was very hard, very difficult for them. At the end, we preferred to travel all night, and finally we decided to travel through the entire night, sleeping only at intervals, in short intervals. With the voices singing in our ears, saying that this was all folly. The Magus says that throughout the journey, some inner voices kept reminding, kept troubling them to discontinue this journey and go back, as it reminded them that it was a folly to undertake such a long and hard journey. Thus, at times, they were confused. They had doubts. Besides physical hardships, they had to face, confront internal doubts as well.